Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and movie review time. This one is from the 80s. I've watched this movie only once before, way back in the late 90s on cable TV. I do remember watching it once, some late afternoon, maybe like a little after lunchtime. Uh, I think this was 98 or 97, 98 or 99. In my grandmother's place one afternoon, I was watching it there on my own, and I really liked it back then, and I forgot the name. I kind of forgot the movie as well for some reason, which been such a long time. But it stars Mickey Rourke, who, for a while, I really liked this actor quite a bit. He was one of my favorite actors, but over the recent years, he's become a little bit kooky. And but I loved The Wrestler, by the way, and some of his older films I really loved. And I think he was a fantastic actor in The Wrestler, a movie by Darren Aronofsky, and I really wanted him to get the Oscar that year for Best Actor, but it went to Sean Penn. I was really bummed at the time when I got to know that he didn't win the Oscar. But yeah, we're not here to talk about that movie. We're not talking about Wrestler, which is one of my favorite movies. We're here to talk about a movie with Mickey Rourke, Robert De Niro, but Robert De Niro is not in the opening. I mean, he doesn't have the big billing. He's actually put as special appearance by, even though he's there quite a bit. Lisa Bonet and Charlotte Rampling, and anybody else who I recognize? That's about it. So, this movie is called Angel Heart. It's from 1987. It's a neo-noir psychological horror film. It's not really a horror per se. And it's an adaptation of a 1978 novel called Falling Angel. And the movie, like I said, stars these actors, directed and written by Alan Parker. And it's basically set in 1955. A New York private investigator named Harry Angel is hired to solve the disappearance of a man who is known as Johnny Favorite, and his real name is John what? John Leaving. So apparently, this was 1955 New York. He's a private investigator. He's hired by a lawyer who represents I suppose, a businessman, a foreigner who's come there called Louis Cypher, and he says he needs to track down a person called John Leaving, who became famous in the 1940s, in the crooner era, for his talent, and he said they had a contract, and unfortunately in sometime back in 1943 he disappeared, and he knows he's somewhere in this area, but he wants to find out if the person is still alive. Sorry, I almost kicked the stand. So Johnny Favorite was this crooner, and he is supposed to be suffering severe neurological trauma because he went to World War II, and he was injured over there, and he came back. So he's supposed to be in this private institution, a hospital. So Harry goes and tries to find out from the records, but they shows that he's actually been moved in 1943. But he realizes that it's actually a fake statement because of ballpoint pens not being invented at that time. So he knows that those happened much later. So he gets the information from the woman at the register, a nurse at the register, and he goes to find the doctor, and he knows that the doctor is, he breaks into the house and finds out that the doctor has got a morphine addiction, and he is, he basically threatened him to get the information, and he says back in 1943, a man and a woman came there to take the disfigured Harry, and they took them along with him, and they paid him a large sum to keep him over there, to pretend that he was still there and fake his admission at the hospital. So Harry locks him in the bedroom and goes to say, he goes, I'm going to have some food, you sit over here. And he thought that the morphine addiction would actually take hold of him and he will give out more information. However, when he comes up, that guy is dead. Later, he finds out, Cypher gives him a lot of money, $5,000, which at the time was a huge amount of sum. And he finds out that Johnny Favorite had a fiancée from a wealthy family. Her fiancée name is Margaret. He goes and tries to find her, but she says that they were kind of estranged because Johnny also had a secret love affair with a black woman named Evangeline Proudfoot. So Johnny, this is in New Orleans, so he travels there. He talks to Margaret. She says he's dead, but and he discovers that Evangeline died many years before, but gave birth to a 17-year-old girl who presumably is Johnny's daughter, and her daughter's name is Epiphany Proudfoot, who is 17 years old right now. He also talks to the guitarist for Harry's band, threatens him. He ends up dead. Margaret ends up dead, and he is hounded by the cops in New Orleans, as well as Ethan Krusmark, who is the father of Margaret, is also hounding him. He sends his goons to beat him up. He becomes a little bit friendly with Epiphany, and he invites her to join him a little later. And then one evening, he sees Epiphany at his doorsteps. It's raining. They get to his apartment. They drink. Then they have aggressive sex. Man, it's like he is really pounding her. Epiphany, played by Lisa Bonet. Apparently, it was a big scandal, sort of scandalous at the time, because she was playing this wholesome daughter of Bill Cosby's character in the Bill Cosby Show, and she's like stark naked. Well, they don't show it, but she's naked in the movie, and it does look like they're actually going in it. And apparently, the movie, they had to cut a few seconds of the sex scene because otherwise they had to give an X rating for the movie, and they had to reduce it to an R rating to make sure that the distributors could get it to as many theaters as possible. Finally, we find out that when he's speaking to what's his name now, the father of Margaret, Krusmark, and he goes in and he confronts Krusmark, and he tells him basically that Favorite was actually an occultist who sold his soul to Satan for his talent and for the stardom that he received later. But instead of going and giving his soul later, he tried to escape it by they kidnapped a young soldier from Times Square, performed a satanic ritual on the boy, murdering him, and then he ate his heart. He then stole his identity and unfortunately got drafted overseas, got injured, and then came back. So he suffered from trauma and amnesia, and basically was sent to the hospital for treatment. And well, it turns out that Louis Cypher, Lucifer, is Satan, played brilliantly by Robert De Niro, and he is here to collect, because Johnny Favorite is actually, or rather I should say, Harry Angel is actually Johnny Favorite with a new face. Guess what? Epiphany is his daughter, and he had sex with her, right? And apparently Satan had also had sex with Epiphany, and out of them grew a child, and that child has also got, basically the son of Satan as well. So now that he has committed one of the biggest sins, basically having sex, and then we find out that he's actually killed all these people. The cops don't really know who's killed them, but they kind of come to Angel, and Angel is actually the person. He blacks out when he kills these people. He's killed all of them, and then he runs to his apartment where he finds Epiphany's naked dead body lying on the bed, and the cops are there, and they tell him he is going to burn for what he's done to Epiphany, and he says, I know I'm going to die in hell. So he's finally accepted that he is Johnny Favorite, and he looks at the child who was hidden in one of the other rooms, and the kid's eyes glow. So he is basically Satan's son, and Harry gets taken to, but they don't actually show him going to hell, but they show him going through this elevator down, and that's kind of like symbolic of him going to hell, and thus ends the movie. Yeah, that's the part that I really remember, and I remember the part of because on cable they had cut the sex scene, of course. But I knew that they had sex, and I knew that she was his daughter, and yeah, the final scene, and the fact that Louis Cipher. So for a while on the internet after that, I actually created an email ID with called Louis underscore Cipher 666 or something like that. But it's been lost to the sands of time. I give this movie a 7 out of 10. It's okay, it's a little bit boring here and there, but I do enjoy it. And I think Robert De Niro as Satan is fantastic. Mickey Rourke, of course, is awesome as well. And as well as Lisa Bonet. So, three good actors in there doing a really absolutely wonderful. Oh, yeah. The other actor that I recognize, although he's a little bit younger, of course, at this point in time, is Dan Florek, who later was on Law and Order Special Victims Unit and on LA Law, and of course in the Flintstones movie as well. So yeah, he's in it as well. So that's basically it for Angel Heart. I give it a 7 out of 10. Have a good night.